everyone, this is Tony from Blue Butterfly Creations, and today I'm going to show you how I made this card here, and it's very simple. So to start, I used a stamp from, I believe it's Inkadinkado, and it is this one here with this little carriage with the little couple in it. I use some paper that was in my stash, black cardstock, black dewdrops, some ribbon, a sentiment from Stampendous, my tea dye distress ink, and some ivory cardstock. So to get started, I cut my card base, and this is just an A2 card base, so it's 5.5 by 8.5. I scored and folded it at 4 1/4, and as you can see here, I distressed one side of that. I also stamped my image already on a piece of the ivory cardstock, and this is 2 inches by 4 3/4 inches, and I also distressed that with my tea dye ink. It is stamped using Memento Rich Cocoa ink, so it is safe for Copics or other alcohol-based markers if you decide to color it in. I didn't. I just wanted it very plain and simple. I have a mat for that out of the black cardstock that is 2 1/8 by 4 7/8. I have my sentiment, which is also out of that ivory cardstock, and that is also stamped with the Rich Cocoa from Memento ink. And that piece of ivory cardstock is cut to 1 3/8 by 1 5/8. The black cardstock to layer it on is 1 1/2 by 1 3/4. I have this piece of pattern paper that is from a Die Cuts with View stack. It was in my stash. This is cut to 2 7/8 by 1 3/8, and then the black cardstock for that is 3 by 1 1/2 inches. This is also distressed with the tea ink. Then I have this piece of pattern paper here, and I distressed this all the way around with my tea ink as well. This is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and the mat for it in black is cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So what I'm going to do to get started is I'm just going to finish up distressing my sentiment here, and I'm just going to use my tea ink, my tea distress ink. I'm working from the outside in, swirling it so it's all nice and covered. I'm going to rotate it, do the same thing, rotate, come in, rotate, come in. And that's how I did it for all the other pieces. I did them beforehand, so that way this video wouldn't be too long. So there's my sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the cardstock that coordinates in size. And I'm using my Glue Glider Pro with Permatac. You can use whichever adhesive you prefer. So I have that, and I'm going to layer that and center it right in there. I'm going to do the same thing with my other pieces and layer them to the coordinating black cardstock. Centered. Just like so. Same thing with my image here. And I really like this image. I thought it would be perfect for a wedding. So And this year I have like 3 or 4 weddings to go to, so with it being a simple card, simple design, I can easily make a number of them. So I'm going to move these out of the way here. And then do the same with my pattern paper. All the way around. And adhere that to my black cardstock centered. Like so. Next, I'm going to lay out and adhere my littler pieces. So I'm going to put adhesive on the back of my main image here. And I'm going to put this centered toward the top here so that it's equal distance from the 3 edges. I'll lift this up so you can see what I mean. So it sits about 1/4 of an inch in from the 3 sides. I'm then going to use the wraparound method with some Scotch tape to adhere a piece of this sheer ivory ribbon across the littler piece of pattern paper here so it's centered along the long edge. I'm going to just wrap to the back. And now I've got my tape stuck. There we go. And tape that into place on both sides here. Like so. Okay. Then I'm going to put adhesive on the back and adhere it to my card front. I like to put a little extra over the ribbon ends. So I'm going to adhere this so that it sits below the main image, equal distance from the bottom and from the side, and flush with the image. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm leaving a little bit of space, but this edge here matches with this edge here. I'm going to do the same thing with the sentiment in this spot. So I'm going to apply adhesive to my sentiment. Like so. And apply that as well. Okay. So there's my card front so far. I'm going to adhere this to my card base. So I'm going to run adhesive all over the back here. Making sure I get it tight toward the corner, and I missed a little bit on that corner there. Come back here. A little straight down the center. I'm going to adhere this to my card base. Right here. So it's centered. So I'll have a little ivory distressed rim around the edges. Okay. So there's my card so far. Now I got some glue dots here, and I've already made myself a little bow. So I'm going to peel my bow off and put it here across in the upper corner of that ribbon strip that I made. I have some black dewdrops, and I'm going to put these where my main image is, toward that left side, one in the center and one equal distant on each side, here and here. So there you have it. There is my card. Very simple, but still very stunning with the color. Even though it's a monochromatic, it's very stunning in how it looks. Very Victorian feel. So thank you for joining me on this episode of bluebutterflycreations.blogspot.com, and I will see you again soon.